Clean up and paint day. Gonna try to get the battery out of this thing so that we can just kind of get in here. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I actually just noticed right here is rusted out. You know, I do a lot of welding. In most cases, I'd fix this. In this case, considering the condition of this overall, I don't know if I will. I'll definitely rust convert it. Remains to be seen if I will actually weld a patch in there or just clean it up real good. But there's so much junk in here, we got to get cleaned out, that I want to start by pulling the battery out, which looks like it's not going to be crazy difficult. Just a handful of basic tools. And then this is, I think, all this oil stuff down here is probably coolant. It's leaked from our other removal process. But yeah, I'm going to pull this battery out and see what there is to see on the other side. I have to do a bunch of vacuuming, I think, before I start to actually paint. I have this rust encapsulator I got off of Amazon. It's weird. It almost like it's not metric. I got it off Amazon. It came in like a bag inside of a container, and it came with brushes and gloves and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I figured I'd give it a try. It had a bunch of really high ratings, so I usually use Pour 15. I'm a big Pour 15 fan. I like it. It's just gotten really expensive, like to the point where I'm like, I don't know how bad I really need it. You know, like $70 for a quart. I mean, come on. Getting a little excessive there, Pour 15. Let's be realistic considering what you are. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I guess this looks like it's captured down here, guys. I don't know if you can see this. Let me just make sure. So it's got this post that holds the battery in, but it goes into like a nut contraption like up underneath here. So I'm going to have to take this post out, I believe, to get the battery out, because this frame piece here isn't moving. Let me back this up a little bit more of a wide angle view. I'm back as far as I can go. So yeah, this is free, but like to get the battery out, this thing is in the way. So I'm going to have to do something with that. I feel like there's a nut under here I should be able to get on and unscrew, but I don't know. I don't know. Probably use a deep socket for that. If I can find one that'll kind of fit. I'm gonna have to end up getting something to hold this, I think, because it's just gonna rotate around. Oh, I can hold it with my hand. Oh, now I can't hold it with my hand. All right, let's just get a little wrench to put on that. Should be an adjustable, will be just fine. Should have named my channel the Crescent Wrench channel or something, considering how much I like this tool and use it. Oh, now we're just turning out of that. All right, we're gonna have to get trickier. Let's see. I won't need the threads down low, so we will use someone else's channel namesake and do some vice grips. So I will not need the threads down here, so we can grab it. I've got to believe that this is not the factory way they put the battery in this thing. Can't say that I know what the factory way was, but 99% sure it didn't involve all this nonsense. But whatever. We work with what we have, including a socket wrench that likes to change direction for no reason. All this to remove the battery. Golly. Oh, you know what? Looking at this, I'm wondering if that front piece of plastic wouldn't just come out if I wanted to take it off. Maybe that's why this is being made difficult. Oh, that doesn't really look factory. It is bent. It's got a nice bend to it. We'll have to fix. But what I was just thinking is like this here. Yeah, I see. If I had taken this off, I could slide the battery out the front. So another example of somebody watching this who is a person who is really familiar with these mules going, idiot, take the front cover off. It's just a couple of Phillips head screws. I didn't do it. I did it this way, and it's going to give me the access I need, and, you know, apologies to those that get frustrated watching me figure things out. Because I know a lot of stuff about a lot of things, but I don't know everything about it all. So kind of just working through it. Batteries from 2018, I think it said on the sticker on it, which I don't want to say I'm optimistic, but I do feel like there's a chance that this battery may end up being able to be resurrected. It just depends on how dead it is. It looks pretty bad, but it is not sealed, and not being sealed means I can change, or I can add acid, mess with the water, you know, kind of do whatever I gotta do. So we'll see. Perhaps not betting anything on it, but we'll give it the old college try anyway. It's assuming I can get these terminals off. I don't feel. Yeah, this one's pretty loose. There's that one. This one here, not pretty loose yet. Yeah. All right, man. I'm bending the lead. All right, this guy's really on there. Gonna have to get more creative here. Let's use the right tool for the job. Pound on it with this. Somebody really wanted to make sure this didn't come off. There it goes. Where's the battery popping? Now I saw it move a little bit. There we go. Okay. So let's remove the battery. Oh, it's the old Econo start. Can't say that. I think I'm expecting less now. All right, so we have this guy here, can be undone. Pretty easy. All right, so we got the battery stuff removed. I'm going to get the shop vac out and have at this thing with the shop vac because it's pretty gross. I mean, you can see like all the stuff in here as I'm dropping into my tools. Plus up top there's a whole bunch. And some stuff in the back. So I'm gonna get the shop vac out. We're gonna clean all this stuff up. That'll give us a chance to figure out what we're painting, how we're painting, where we need to paint. I see some rust up in there now. Yeah, so I'm gonna get the shop vac out. All right, so remember that time on the other side I said I don't know if I'll fix that bottom rusted area? Well, it looks like that's a body mount. There's a bolt in here and it goes down on. So if this is structural, I don't know, I may end up at least repairing it enough that I can reattach it over there. Like you saw that one. Caught the camera. If we look over here, the body mount is there. We still have it. Man, I just vacuumed. Look at all this crap still in here. It's still here, but all of the structure that goes to it, not very structural anymore. So we'll see. Jury's out. Not sure what we'll do with that. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. So we're vacuumed up. I did clean out the engine cradle. Like now that we have an engine, and in this box, is the kit for attaching it. We are getting close to the point where we can actually try to put the engine in. So I'm kind of excited about that, but I want to get this all cleaned up first so that we're ready to actually put the motor into a clean environment, not this dirty one. So I am going to, now that it's cleaned up, I'm going to get the paint stuff out and just start treating these areas. Okay, I'm just scraping and cleaning. I got the leaf blower out and the vacuum. I'm just kind of hitting all the areas that look like they need, you know, attention, just so I can get down the metal. There's some greasy areas that are going to need attention too. I'm probably going to do this in halves, like do this half over here, and then put that tire back on, pull this tire, do this half, pull that gas tank so we can get to everything. It really isn't rusty, folks. Like, I'm pretty impressed, like, as I'm going around this thing. It's dirty, but it's not really rusty. I think a combination of the rust encapsulator and some black spray paint is going to make this look good as new back here. But one of the things we have to do is we have to free up the tire. So I don't know if you guys are watching the series, you watched me struggle to remove the tire because, well, on top of having issues with the actual sockets that fit in there, I was struggling because the drum is essentially welded itself because of dissimilar metal corrosion to this. So, yeah, this is like, I got to get this to drop out so that I can just put the drum back on, clean and treat the drum, put it back on, and then, you know, get this good. And I'm going to probably have to do the same thing on the other side. I don't know exactly what this is going to be to get this off. What I'm going to start with is a 4x4 and a big hammer and just try to pound it down. I'll put something under it to catch it so that it doesn't chip the floor or chip itself. It's already a little bit rough at the edges. But yeah, this is just dissimilar metal corrosion. Anytime you have steel and an aluminum or magnesium, or take your pick, steel up against something that's not steel, over time you'll get like an electrolysis reaction which will bond the two together. It's like a chemical weld. It's more than just corrosion that makes them stick. Like, they actually will stick together given enough time. A little bit of anti-seize around this stops this from happening. Clearly the guy didn't do that. Honestly, he put tires on this too, so I'm really not sure with these brand new tires on it how this happened. But yeah, we're going to get in here and try to get this thing knocked free. All right. I can't really find any wood that's going to do this, so I just grabbed a piece of metal. It's thick enough that I'm just going to lay on here to protect the hub. And I'm just going to wail on it a little bit, give it some good wax. I don't think it's going to hold up to heavy hits now that I'm not worried about damaging it. The real tragedy is going to be this hammer is starting to give it up, but we'll fix that in another video. All right, I got movement. Okay, I got a bunch of movement. This thing is stuck on these lugs. That's the problem. Makes me wonder if these are not the factory wheels or something. I mean, do people put aftermarket wheels on these? Man, I don't know. But it's hung up on these lugs. That's what's holding this. Because we've broken the center corrosion already. Almost there. There it goes. All right. So now we freed it off. You can take a look at this. Yeah, this has already got some rust out on this seal. This is like a metal seal that rides against the backing plate. We'll grind that off so that doesn't become a razor knife. These look like they've been scraped. These are the backs of the lugs. They look like they've been scraped, but you can see my point about the dissimilar metal corrosion. You see all this white stuff? That's all the dissimilar metal corrosion. It's actually plugged into the threads. So we'll clean this up. We'll repair or remove that. I'm not replacing this drum for that. The drum itself actually feels like it has, just like everything else, very little wear. But that's freed off now, so we can reinstall that and begin the process of cleaning this side up to get everything painted up nice. So let's move the vacuum out of the way, and we'll get this thing reinstalled. Alrighty, so let me bring you guys down and in a little bit. So this looks actually real good. You know, looking in here, I put this boot back on. I pulled the boot back a little bit before just to look and see if we had any corrosion in there. We don't. I don't see any wear on the pad of the shoes really. There's still plenty of meat on both shoes. It just needs a cleanup in here, which is really just going to be me running around it with some brake parts cleaner. This guy here is just a spacer. I'll put some oil on this or some grease just to help that ride in there. So that's probably not necessary, but it'll make me feel better. Then we'll install the rotor back, the drum back on. We'll pull that edge off a little bit once I have it held on here with a kind of like a fixture, and then we'll see what we get in terms of getting this guy back in place. Cotter pin to follow. All right, let's start. Start this good cleaning. Give this a clean out. Spider eviction. All right. So that ought to be mostly good in here. This is like a rubber seal, I guess, that was part of that whole seal for the drum. Drum seal makes sense. You know, you don't really want all of that crap from the mud and stuff that these things drive through getting into the brakes. And we'll still have the rubber gasket here, but I'm not going to replace this. I'm not fixing this right now at this stage of the game. It's not getting new rotors. If it turns into the best machine ever, then we'll discuss it. But in the meantime, I wanted to put some grease on that. I wanted to put some grease on that thing. Let's get this guy in place-ish. Whatever do we have here? There's some grease on that that's hardened up, but these splines have some gunge in them. Let's make sure we get that clean. Perfect. Cleaner, come here. Alright, threads feel good. That feels good. Got a little bit of grease on that rider there and that follower. Let's clean off the inside of the drum splines, which is really just me cleaning it out this way. Nothing rocket sciencey here for sure. And we will throw her back in here. All right, let's get on there this time, guy. Okie dokie. Yeah, I just had to take these back apart. There is like a ratcheter in here, like a spring. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this is now all the way back. So like as I do the parking brake, it should self-adjust and ratchet out. I also took the minute to, without having all the noise and stuff, I just ground these down a little bit more just to give it a little bit more clearance. I mean, they already sort of self-clearance, but there's no doubt that was still touching. So let's get back to where we were 20 minutes ago or however long ago and see about getting this on here. It seems like it's moving now. I don't hear anything silly going on. You can see where the seal is in good shape. It's actually touching and doing its thing. This actually is pretty bad all the way around. I'm going to end up having to cut this lip off all the way around because it's just not that good, guys. This isn't seated all the way, though, either. I can tell because of this hub here. Okay, there we go. There's just a little bit of gunge right here. Now I'm contacting that. I know I'm in. I won't lie. I feel like that's just not in as far as it should be. But that spacer is what it is. It doesn't lie. I guess we'll know for sure on the other side when we take a look at it, but it sure does feel pretty good, like it goes on. And it's contacting the spacer in the middle. I just feel like this is a lot of gap here. You know, maybe it's just, wow, this thing is just exiting. Yeah, you know what it is? I think it's just like I'm looking at this like this should be sealed up against this a little bit, and unfortunately, this seal is not here. This edge is not here, so this is just open. So, probably something we'll have to address. Not right now, while we're trying to just get this thing back on the road and moving. I'm not that worried about it for this period of time, but we will need some new drums if we get to the point where this thing becomes king of the road. Yeah. Makes me wonder if that spacer was, maybe he installed a different size spacer or something to try to make it so he would have those stupid lug nuts would clear better. I don't know. It all looks fine. There is like a edge on this, but I think that's just to go in and make sure it grabs only the bearing surface and not the seal surface. I don't know. We'll know more when we get on the other side and have a look at it. For now, she's going back together. I can't really torque these down until I get it on the ground anyway, because I need to be able to, torque it. That slop is in the U-joints, which I'll tell you, no, not bad. I think it's a slop in the transfer case. All right, so that's back together. Next up is going to be some painting of all this stuff and cleaning. I'm gonna run around and we'll break out that magic paint that I got. See how magical it is, and just hit spots like that, encapsulate the rust. I was calling it weird because, again, no affiliation. I'm not. You can tell with my 25 subscribers, I'm not being sponsored by anybody. But this is what I got. And it's weird because it's like rust converter, it's a paint. It hardens into a finish, but it comes in a container. Some brushes and gloves. But what's weird is that, I thought this would be the paint, but you open it up and the paint's in a bag. I've never seen that before. I guess it's a real good way to make sure you can use a cheap container, and then you don't have to worry about it breaking in transit, but kind of weird. Anyway, I'm going to clean this up a little bit more and then get some brushes and some gloves out, and we will start the painting process. Let's see what this stuff can do. My bag of paint, my weird Chinese paint guy gloves. I'll put them on because, you know what, I have them. Wow, these are like full latex too. And it came with a couple of brushes, which, I may as well use these too. I have a bunch of chip brushes that I normally use for this stuff. But now the fun part, like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, do I cut? I think I'm going to cut the bottom here and just let it run in. But what a weird decision to have to make with paint. I don't want to get it everywhere. I guess on the other side of that, I can make sure it's really well mixed since it's in a sack. Is this the future of paint? I hope not. I'm also not too sure what's going to happen once I unleash this out of the bag. There's absolutely no air in this. If this is catalyzed or the reaction is kind of sped up by oxygen, once I dump this in here, I'm going to need to do lots of stuff with it immediately because it's going to harden off. That's a distinct possibility. But no other way to find out than to go ahead and do it. Let me wring out my paint bag. Man, this is weird. If you think it looks weird, you should feel it. It's like a water balloon of mess. It does appear to be mostly filling the container. I don't want to get this all over my hands or all over the floor trying to get that last little bit. So we're going to call it there. All right, so let's see if we turn our attention to the rusty bits of the frame here. Let's just see what we get. All right, it goes on pretty thin, which isn't a bad thing if we get it to run down into the spots we need it. It will be a bad thing if it starts dripping everywhere. What I'm not sure about is a lot of these rust encapsulators, especially like the good ones, they don't stick to anything but rusty metal. They don't stick to paint. So if this is one of those, there's still a lot of pretty quality painted surfaces on this that I'm going to have to go back and just hit with Rust-Oleum or something, which, again, not a big deal. I only bring it up because all these places where I'm getting this right now that aren't rusty, I don't know. Oh, you can't even see where I'm painting now. Let me zoom out. pick this up a hair. All these places that I'm getting that don't have rust on them, you know, like there's rust around it, I'm afraid it might peel. But we'll see. I don't know if it'll peel. Shock mounts, we don't want rusting off. It's very rusty under here, just by the shock mount. And then this shock mount down here that we've already had to basically attack to get the old shock out. Yeah, this is pretty rusty here. It looks like I didn't clean this. I realize you guys are probably like, why are you painting over mud? I have gone over this with brake cleaner. I've gone over it with simple green. It is, it's like the powder coat or something has picked up this stuff. You can see like if I can peel this stuff off, in some places I can still get it to peel. But like on the whole, it's just, it's pretty weird, you know, surface prep. So I'm just going to get this where I think I need to get it. We're going to let Rust-Oleum do the areas where it isn't rusty yet. And we'll kind of take it from there. I don't really know how much of this is fun to watch. So I think I'm just going to see what happens if I do a time lapse with this. I'm going to let it run. I'm going to paint this, but I'm going to stop talking. And I'm just going to get about this and we'll see what it looks like. Okay. So that was first pass with just the rust encapsulator. Like I'm not going crazy in on this, trying to get every spot because, like I said before, this stuff usually doesn't stick to paint. So I just tried to get all of the areas that I saw rust coming through the old. It almost looks like it was powder coated. I still have more to do, obviously. Like I want to get this bar and stuff like that. I also want to get that wheel off over there. Hopefully it's not as nightmarish as this one was down here. And then I want to get that leaf spring and stuff. But, you know, you guys get the idea. I will bring you back when that stuff is complete, because it's going to be a rinse and repeat of the fun of this side, hopefully with less breaks. But yeah, I'll bring you guys back when it's all done. What a difference the side makes. That tire, nightmarish to take off, and struggled. I actually did get it torqued down and a cotter pin kind of in. I'm going to take this back off again because when I do the motor, but this side over here, I just, even with the little tiny impact gun, was able to just zip them right off. The corrosion is here, you can see it, but if you look at the threads, they're not all corroded on. So this gives us access to clean all this up and paint it the right way. I also got to get this thing out, the diesel tank. I have to also be prepared to replace it with the non-rusted out diesel tank that he claims it. He said this one was rusted out. I'm just going to assume that he's not wrong about that. But let's see. I think this is only held in by just a bolt under here. This guy. So we're going to try and just take that off with the impact and see if we can just slide the old tank off. I don't think, I mean, this shouldn't be complicated. Famous last words, I feel like. But this should be pretty straightforward. I don't know if anybody's ever going to have to do this on a Kawasaki Mule in the future. Let me get the light. I feel like it's a little dark over here. It's been raining out all day here today. Let's put the light on. Let's turn the light on. And let's get you guys set up in a place where you can hopefully see what I'm doing. All right. Cool. So yeah, I'm literally just going to struggle in vain to find the right size socket for under here. Might need to go to deep sockets anyway because it's kind of got some thread exposed. Yeah, that's the right size, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get on it because it's long, but we'll give it a shot. Sometimes you can just kind of leave these on just a little bit like that, just to get it going. Make sure we're on loosen, because that would stink. Nah, it needs to be the right size, but we've identified that it is in fact a 12. So let's get a 12 out of the pile of fun. Just so happens the 12 was already on the other thing. All right, so that was uneventful. There's the nut. Where did I put the nut? Can you guys see? Yes, who cares, right? The nut's there. This should be loose now. So we can remove it. Yeah, the whole tank moves now. So this is just a pin. Nice and easy. Fuel lines are actually tucked up here out of the way. Yeah, I got paint on me. Great. Let's see what's, ooh. This guy's got some diesel in it. That'll be not bad for me, at least. If it's a decent diesel, I won't be afraid to dump that in my tractor. There's a whole fuel filter assembly in here. Well, all right, we won't be needing any of that stuff, but we got to undo it. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. That appears to be at least a fuel filter, if not also a pressure regulator, based on the little diaphragm house on top. So I think it's going to be easiest, since we have access, to remove the hoses from here. Don't think we're going to need any of that. The filter might be nice to have, but if it's got a pressure regulator in it too, I don't know. It'd be weird to have it pressure regulated at that spot of the tank. So I'm not 100% convinced that it's not just a filter cartridge, but we will see. We will in fact see, because I do need fuel filtering for the Vanguard engine, and if we already have it built in. All right, we didn't dump diesel anywhere. That's a bonus. So now we should be able to extricate the old tank here. Oh, look, a little sight glass to tell you how full it is. Well, that's kind of cool. Ugh. Oh man, this is like full, guys. This is full. I don't know. Let's take a look inside. Can we see anything terrible? I mean, I'll be honest. That diesel looks very clean, and the tank looks very clean. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Maybe if I take off the light and shine it directly in. I don't know. This is not easy to figure out for you. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see in there. It's got an orange tinge to it, but frankly, not bad. Not bad at all. I am definitely going to be salvaging that diesel out, I can assure you, because it's great. And it feels like about 2 gallons plus. We'll have to see about this fuel gauge in here. That's registering it's registering a little over a quarter, a little under a half. So I'm struggling to see anything wrong with this tank, but we do have an extra one we may end up using. But now it's just going to be clean this up, paint the rest of this, you know, make it nice so that we're working with nice stuff. It's already looking a lot better in the places we've painted. That and rust encapsulator from Amazon seems to be hardening correctly. I'm going to give it a second coat. I'll do the first coat over here, and then I'll come back and do the second coat over here. I mean, this isn't really rotted stuff. I did wad it up in the lower B pillar over there. I guess mostly A pillar since the hinges are on it. But I did wad it up on that side that has the lower cab corner that's a little bit crunchy looking. But other than that, I think in here is just going to be straight cleanup and paint because it all looks pretty good. I'll tell you what, I should have started on this side. Everything came apart. Look, both shock bolts came out. This one's still shiny for crying out loud. So I got the shock out. I got it painted. Again, this is just the rust encapsulator. It's paintable. I'm going to go over all of it with some black Rust-Oleum. Just try to make it nice. I still haven't removed the weird fuel filter thing. I will. I'll pull that off of there. Figure out where that's going to go. Got a lot of cool parts off of this for other projects like tractors and stuff. That fuel filter might end up going right on my my tractor. Just because I don't have a good fuel filter on that right now, and that one looks pretty nice. Even has a water separator in it, which is extra clutch. But anyway, that's going to be it for painting and prepping. Brakes are fine on this side. Didn't have to do anything. Tire came off. So I think the next video is going to be messing with the Vanguard install. I did get the kit, and I'll put a little video up of the ad for the eBay ad that I found this on versus what they cost to buy. This thing's the magic, man. Like this, apparently a lot of these mules don't have this spline shaft. They have a tapered shaft for the driven, or for the not for the driven wheel, for the clutch side of the CVT. It's like extra money if you want to try to buy this $900 kit and then have the spline shaft sent along as well. So did really good with that. And then we got this guy here. We're going to have to figure out an exhaust. It still has a factory exhaust on it from when this was in a Cub Cadet. I want to go through that fuel pump, make sure that's good. I'm not sure that's going to be able to stay there either. Just there's a lot of moving parts here that I have to figure out in terms of this conversion kit. Oil filter looks probably good there, but then there's this drain tube here that I'm guessing has more to do with where the installation it was at for draining the oil. But we'll get into all that in the next video. I'm going to cut this video off here since we're more or less painted up now and back together. Cooling system deleted. Everything is pretty much ready for the install. So as always, here's the pitch. Like and subscribe. Really could use the subscribers. This is kind of a cool series. I don't know how many. I've looked around on YouTube and haven't seen a whole lot of repowers of these mules with this Vanguard kit. I know it's done. I know people have done it. I'm not exactly reinventing the wheel, but it's not a lot out there. So if you want to follow along and watch me figure it out, that would be awesome. Please subscribe. And other than that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.